You are now listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Andy podcast.
All right, today is Saturday, June 6, 2020, about 11:25 in the morning. Again, I record my podcast on Saturdays.
Yeah.
For anyone's interested in appearing on the Flat Tire Andy podcast, you're more than welcome to. Just hit me up. Let me know. Today on the podcast, I have a good buddy of mine, Paul Valdez.
Hey, how you doing?
What's going on, bud?
Well, it's actually Valadez. It's not Valdez.
You know what? I
Valdez.
always say Valdez, bro, and you
It's
never correct me.
It's always Valadez.
And what? In 6 years, this is the first time you're correcting me.
Hey, I'm just. If we're gonna be on the podcast, we gotta get it right.
Make it
man.
right. Okay, spell out your last. I'm saying.
But the thing is, man, we go a long way back, man. I think I met you up in. I think when I became a salesman up in Allied. That was when I first met you.
That's when I first, when Reyes purchased Allied, I was in Silmar for a year. And then when I got promoted to Santa Barbara, or the Ventura office, that's when I met you. So I met you in about, October of 14?
I know. I think it was October of 15.
When did you start working there?
I was with the Reyes brothers for a while. I transferred from Orange County Harbor OC to Allied. I think about the fall of 2015, 2014.
You moved around more than I own chonies, bro.
Yeah, dude. I'm a nomad, dude. I'm a transplant, dude.
Yeah, transplant.
Yeah.
Okay, so you weren't in Allied Ventura when I first moved out there.
No, yeah, I wasn't.
You came in and after.
Yeah, it was crazy because I moved out to Oxnard, and I moved from the desert out to Oxnard, but there wasn't no transfers. That's when they just barely had purchased Allied, so there was no transfers for me to go to Allied. So the closest one that had an opening for me to transfer was Orange County. So I was driving from Oxnard to Orange County every day for my route until something opened up in Allied. But what the messed up thing was, on my first week in Orange County, Allied called me to bring me up for an interview. And then when I talked to my bosses, talked to my VPs, talked to everybody, like, hey, dude, they just called me. Can you guys make an exception? You mothers, they're like, no, bro, you gotta you gotta pay your dues here. Then we can transfer you up.
How long did you drive to Orange County for? And how long was the drive? 2 hours?
In the mornings when I would leave, it was about an hour and 10 minutes.
That's not bad.
But when I was come back in the afternoon, it was about 3 hours. It was always about 2.5 to 3 hours.
Dude, 4 years of commuting for more than an hour, and on the way back, almost 3 hours. I don't miss it, dude. I'm loving my route right now. When I came out here, a couple of the salesmen out here were calling me, hey, we hear you're the VP's boy, you're his boy. Like, I mean, I've worked with him, but I don't think we're boys, but, well, I mean, you guys are intimidated. I'll take it.
But the thing is the VP's a good guy, man. He's one of those, if you're on his side, he's going to make sure you're all right. And he's going to make sure he's going to take care of you.
He's been really good with me, man. He's been really cool with me. I believe my first year out here, I don't believe that's exactly what happened. He drove up to my house on Cinco de Mayo. I was barbecuing because it was my birthday weekend. Dude shows up with the limo and 12 packs. And even though he was only here for 5 minutes, it was cool. It was amazing. It was like, my VP is socializing with, my family, and allowed my kids in the limo, and they're over here jumping up and down, dancing to music with the Modelo girls inside. So that was pretty cool.
What got you into the beer industry, though? I know we talked about it a few times here and there in the cooler, and then while we're out on the route, but like, what got you into the beer industry?
When I first learned what a vendor was, I started working at Walmart. I was overnights. My brother got me in. Just first within a week of me being there, I knew that I was going to get promoted.
Yeah.
Just by looking at the environment, the vibe, the other people's work ethics, and I'm over here wrapping pallets like I still worked at Home Depot.
Like you're fucking chingon and stuff.
So within 4 months of overnights, they moved me to days. 3 months after that, I was promoted to a department manager in charge of the entire food department, including, beer. I learned what, the orders, how they write orders, and inventories and all that. I mean, I'm writing orders for Walmart myself.
Yeah.
And the one day that caught Ally's attention was the way I interacted with customers.
Yeah.
But before they saw how I interacted with customers, they also saw the way I was lecturing one of their merchandisers.
Yeah.
The salesman, just blind orders. And for those of you that don't know what blind orders are, it's someone who doesn't take inventory and just punches numbers and sends an order out.
Yeah. That's usually what happens for Friday for Mondays.
I'm getting fed up with this guy. He's writing blind orders. He calls me and tells, "Oh, I was there at 5 a.m. This is what I'm sending." Back then, I didn't know what a case was. I didn't know a 6-pack was 4 units. I didn't know a 12-pack was 2 units. You know, I caught on because I was like, wait a minute, these inventories are ridiculous. Since I was getting annoyed and frustrated with the salesman, every time a boss went in there asking for something or asking for more or asking for a display, I would rip them a new one and say, look at the back room.
Yeah.
The store can get fined because the cooler to the meat department is blocked with Allied product, with the beer.
Yeah. If you don't got a good merchandiser, they're gonna leave that back room looking.
Exactly.
That's a whole different subject.
Exactly. So that day, I pretty much have the merchandiser on his knees, wiping down these Parabay pouches that I allowed the salesman to sell in, put them on this little rack, but they started leaking.
Man, that's a while ago.
That was a while ago. Yeah,
they don't have those no more, man.
This is what this is back in 13.
Yeah,
2013.
because those were Parabay was like the hot thing, and now forget it.
So I'm lecturing this guy and ripping him a new one. I'm obviously being an asshole to the guy.
Yeah,
that's the one thing they teach us. So I was being an asshole to the guy. So he's wiping the pouches, and then this other guy shows up, and he's like, "Hey, I work for Allied too. How can I help you? What's going on?" I turned around, looked at him, and said, "I'll yell at you next." And so I get back on the guy. He finished wiping the pouches. It is what it is. Then I take this new guy, walk him to the back, repeat the same story that I've repeated to all the managers that have walked in there.
Yeah.
And within half an hour he said, "I'm only here to do a survey." He does a survey. I walk away, do my job, interact with customers. 30 minutes later, he comes up to me and says, "How would you like to work for us?"
Yeah.
I was like, I was just yelling at you. And you offer me a job. So my response was, I don't quit my job, but I'll keep it in mind. He gives me his business card. 2 months later, I called him. I was ready.
Yeah.
So that's how I got into the beer business.
Oh, what Walmart was it at though?
The one in Oxnard.
Oxnard?
Yeah.
The one on Rose? Or
shout out to the people working at Walmart 2032.
That's the one on Rose, right? Right
Yeah.
next to the Vons?
That's the one on Rose, on next to Vons. Yes.
Okay. Yeah, see, mine was a different story, though, man. I used to merchandise soda. So, I was working for Pepsi. So, dude, with soda, you have to be, it's just balls to the wall. Like, you got to be quick because anybody could buy a soda pop, the 2 liter, but you got to be 21 and over to buy beer.
To buy beer. Yep.
So, I remember I was sitting in the back room in Riverside at a Stater Brothers stacking off the load. And one of the big guys from Gate City called me and told me, and it came up, and he was like, "Hey, you move pretty quick." I'm like, "Yeah, dude, I'm pretty good." I go, "How long you been doing this?" I was like, "Man, about like 2 years." He's all, "You look good, man. What, you want to trade that in, throw in 10 pallets of beer?" And I was like, "All right, show me the money, dude." And at that time, I think, like $10 an hour was a killer. Like you're making top dollar right there. And I go, "Well, I'm at top tier. I'm making $11." He's all, "I'll start you off at 13." I was like, "Sign me up, bro. I'm
and
there."
That's where they caught my attention because I was a manager making $9.20 an hour, and they offered me 16.
Yeah,
That's like almost half of what I'm making, double of what I'm making. So I was like, yeah. But again, I'm not the person to quit my job, so I didn't take his offer right there and then. I waited. About 2 months later, I was unhappy, and then I called him.
Yeah, I was getting fed up with my salesman because my salesman was just dumping things, dude. Like just dumping, because what a lot of people don't know, with soda, all these guys get paid out on like a lot of their frappuccinos, monsters on the floor. So, and then he's just dumping it, and I'm just like, "Bro, like you're killing me, dude. We already have like a whole pallet in the rafters." He's all, "I don't care, get it out there."
And
so.
that's the one thing I love about our business is that we get paid by the hour. So
Yeah.
there is no dumping. There's writing the proper order.
Yeah, and so then I switched over, but then My first weekend, I thought I did the wrong move though. I was like, because I didn't know what stocking beer had entailed. I'm like, dude, it's beer. It can't be that hard. But the rotating of the back room, rotating of the displays, the rotation of all this, I'm like, man, dude. Then to top it off, where I was at out there, they were kind of like, you get 13 stops. I go, well, with soda, I only had 6, and they're like, well, you got 13 stops. And I'm like, man. And then the driver, I got a hard reality that got slapped to me, dude. They're like, there you go, bro.
But you lasted this long. How long you been doing beer for?
About 20 years.
Wow, dude, I'm barely gonna hit 7 in August.
Yeah, I did it about 20 years. Started when I was 23, about 24.
Wow.
Yeah, it's going on like 20 years. But I done every aspect from, dude, I done merchandising to draft sales to relief sales to salesman to now I got to where everybody wants to get to is being the supplier side, which.
Because when I met you, you were a salesman already.
Yeah. So when I went to Allied, I was a merchandiser. But I think it was they were kind of putting me on the fast track to be a salesman. So when I got up there, I was just a merchandiser. But when I got up there, I was hearing people complain about these loads being dropped on them. And I'm like thinking in my head, like, you guys are in for a rude awakening. Because when I was coming from OC, Orange County, they're dropping off like 1,000, 2,000 loads, 2,000 case loads on me, like nothing, like see you later and have fun. And I had to get it all done within 9-10 hours. And then when I came up here, when I went up there, they were crying about like 200, 300 case loads. I'm like, what are you talking about?
And I was like that when I first came out here to this territory. The guys are like, dude, this is stressful. We have a walk, and I'm like, this is stressful. You guys don't sell certain packages. We only sell this package, which should be a lot easier. You guys have no idea what stress is.
Yeah, they don't, man. And that's why I was like, when I got up there, I was hearing this, and then when I was telling drivers like, get out of here, because honestly, the drivers were stacking it in for me, and I was getting done in like 4 or 5 hours. Like I was knocking out my whole route in 4 or 5 hours, and I was kind of just like, okay, what do I do now? And at the time they were still transitioning for merch manager, all that, and I was just like twiddling my thumbs, like, what do you want me to go do? So I was actually going on to other guys' routes, calling them and
helping them out
and just taking over the whole route. So I remember one time it took one guy to do 3 stores, and I did 11 stores.
Wow.
I knocked out. I pretty much went to his side and knocked out the rest of his route. And everybody was like, damn, dude, like, what's going on? And I was like, dude, it is what it is, you know?
And that's kind of, again, the same thing that happened out here. I come out here to only selling a few SKUs to compare to Ventura, Sylmar, where we have almost the entire portfolio, and counting more, inventory more, taking more time in the back rooms. Out here, I'm like, I'm done counting in like 5 minutes. It's like, this is too easy.
But how'd you feel when you came out here, though, man? Like, how was it for you when you finally got down here?
It was a little less stressful, you know, because obviously, like you said earlier about co-dates, some beers don't last as long as others.
Yeah.
And out here, the beer that we sell out here is a little bit longer than what I was selling in the Ventura, Santa Barbara area. It was less stress. What I loved the most was that the manager are out here more with you.
Yeah.
You see your VP of sales out here more often. You know, they get their hands dirty. They'll merch. They'll put on a pair of gloves, and they're working. So that was a different environment, and I loved it. I think the first day that I really was like, oh my God, are you serious? An account tried to cut my order because they were upset because we wouldn't pick up a broken can. And, you know, we all know in the beer business, picking up breakage is against the law.
Yeah.
And I remind them, like, I can't, you know. So she tried to refuse she tried to refuse some items. And she got on the phone with me. And she started, like, you know, kind of bickering, where my boss grabbed the phone, and he pretty much backed me up, and he pretty much spoke up for me. And where I hear him say, okay, then well, if that's the case, then we'll just refuse the entire order, and we won't do business with you. Instantly, I was like, oh, it's like, wow, like these guys really have your back. So that was one of the things that I loved about the most of being different territory, different managers, different points of views, different, you know, techniques, I guess.
Yeah, but how does it feel from an hour drive every day to now you're pretty much in your backyard?
Bro, I come home for lunch every day.
I know, because I know if I'm gonna meet up with you and it's getting close to 10:30 or so, and not to meet up with you.
You already know where I'm at. You already know where I'm at.
I'm like, I gotta wait for 10:45 to meet up with them later.
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Yes, sir.
It's cool though to see you down here, because when things went bad up with me from up north, which was my own fault, they gave me plenty of warnings, you know, and I switched over to this side. I couldn't see anybody over, you know, up here, down here from up there. I was like, man, I was all over the place. So now my whole territory is all LA County, and I'm everywhere, man. So
yeah,
it's pretty crazy.
I know when I first came out here, it was nice to see a familiar face.
Yeah,
it really was. And I was like, but I'm like, wait a minute, you don't work for us anymore? You're working for a supplier now. How'd you get into that?
When things were going south with me and Allied, which it was my own which was my own doing, dude. Honestly, I just gave up, man. I remember our good friend Scotty would always tell me like, "Hey, dude, like, what's wrong with you? Like, what's wrong with you?" And I'm like, "Nah, just not." I didn't get the support that I was getting from my manager. He was kind of one of those like, if you're gonna do good for me, I'll support you, but if once you start messing up, I can't back you up. And that's when it started getting into. Then I remember them putting me on conference calls and not telling me that there's people there listening to the call. And so I just gave up, dude. And then at that time, I was actually the only one in Ventura that actually sold a portfolio. That I actually believed in Belching Beaver, because Belching Beaver was, you know, the good one. Oh, sorry to name drop. I'll pay you later for the advertisement
between you and your boss later on.
No, man. So they kind of were looking at me, and one of my big mentors, Mark Amador, he saw what I was doing, and so he was behind the scenes trying to sneak me away, like trying to steal me. When he started hearing that I was upset and wanted to move, you know, he was kind of just already plugging into our owner's ear, like, hey, there's a guy up there, think will be good. And then from there, when I got let go, I was kind of, you know, like, I let him know, like, I got let go. And about a month, they called me and they told me, they're like, you want to come work for us? And I was like, yeah. It took about 2 months, about 2 to 3 months after that. Then finally they brought me aboard. And then that's what I've been here ever since, man. It's been going on, I think it's about to be 3 years.
Yeah, I was just telling my boys last night that, because they were like, who's going to be on your podcast tomorrow, Dad? I'm like, you know, Paul went with us to the Rose Bowl. Oh, okay. In an event is what they remember. Oh, okay. And I was mentioning to them that you had gone to work for, I think, a different like a energy drink company. And Belgian Beaver wasn't happy with that. They're like, no, and they brought you back. And
yeah, because I left because I wasn't feeling. Honestly, I built the brand in LA. Like, you don't know how many nights of, you know, staying out till midnight and then getting home at like 2-3 in the morning, then being up for a distributor meeting at 5, and then grinding away till about that same time. So like, you have a set time, you get to go home.
Yeah.
I don't have a set time. I have to go home, but I can make up my schedule. But at that time, they're really pushing the Beaver. They're really trying to get us out there. And man, dude, like, it was brutal. But there was a moment where I wasn't getting what I was promised. And then I just said, you know what? Monster came in and said, we'll take care of you. But then it woke them up, because they saw how much influence I had out here with you guys, because you guys will only sell it because you know I'll be out there to do it.
That's why I sell it.
I go into your accounts, dude, and they tell me like, yeah, we only bring it in because we know you stop by and you say what's up, and you're like, and then
this is the one thing I've always said, and this is I learned again from Scotty.
Yeah.
We both know Scotty. He always said a face makes a difference. You show your face, and yeah, they love that when you show your face. And there's other suppliers that don't get that, so that's why it's easy for me to sell your product.
Yeah, and he actually told me that too. When I went to the supplier side, he told me. I remember he said this quote to me when he called me: "Don't be a ghost." I was like, "What are you talking about, dude?" And he's like, "Don't be a ghost. That guy that just calls, they hear the voices, but they don't see the person."
That's the face.
And I'm like, "Oh, okay." He's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah." He's all, "I'll sell you all day, but he's all, just don't be a ghost, dude."
Yeah, I learned a lot from Scotty. I mean, like my first week out there, I didn't know him. I didn't know the other guys. He actually drove one day from Santa Paula to Oxnard to meet me at a Starbucks, and he sat there for like, with me for like 2 hours, kind of showing me how to read an incentive packet, how to do certain things in the trade. Pretty much, he was my mentor,
Yeah,
and I'll always love him for that, because he took me under his wings without even knowing me. And out of everyone, and for me only knowing Scotty for a few months, he went to he came to my wedding. He drove from Santa Paula to Baldwin Park,
oh wow,
and that's the kind of person that he is. So yeah, he took me under his wing, and I know a lot of everything that I know about selling. You know me, dude. I don't drink beer,
yeah.
but I can sell the hell out of it.
I make fun of the Bud, one of the head VPs of Bud, when I see him in accounts, and I tell all the accounts, like, how you gonna trust his judgment? He doesn't even drink. And they're like, really? I go, yeah. He's just telling you what other people say, and I'm like, but then I look at you, I'm like, leave him alone. Like,
Yeah,
he's
leave
good,
me
he's
alone.
good,
And
he's
I
good.
I sell based on data. I have data on my
Yeah.
iPad, and it shows me what to do.
I met Scotty because I didn't know nobody. Like, I was a new salesman, got promoted, and I was coming into these meetings, and then he just came up to me and started talking. Like, I guess we were all able to BS with each other. And then Billy, would hang out with him, and I would hang out with him, and then we just got to know each other like that. And then I had one of the worst routes, though. Fillmore, Santa Paula. I hated that route.
The 126, bro.
Oh, I hated that route, dude. That route was known for QC, and I remember my first year. That's how they got to know me. They all love me because my first year, I think is my month in of becoming a salesman, the QA audit hit, and they went on my route.
Oh no.
And I remember when I first took over the route, I walked into one store in Satakoy, and it had 140 cases of Adacode sitting in the back staged. And I was like, I took pictures. I sent it to the VP in Allied Silmar. Like, hey, man, like, I have all this. No one's helping me out here. And it was kind of one of those, like, they didn't want to help me. Because when I came up from OC, a lot of the managers kind of gave me some flack because of what was being said about me. So and I remember one of the salesmen was kind of going around my back telling people, like, you better watch out for him. They brought him up for a reason. He's going to get a lot of people fired.
They thought that about you?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
And I was kind of like, okay, nah, dude. I just came up here because my ass is getting tired of driving 4 hours a day for my route. Like, and but I remember that telling them, and then the QA audit hit. I remember the day of the QA audit, we were driving around picking up all the because that was just one store. I think on my route we pulled out 782 cases out of code that were just staged in back rooms throughout my whole route.
Wow.
And you want to know what we got popped with? They went into one of my accounts, sat for lunch. The guy looks at the back bar, and there was an old bottle, and he's like, "We don't make that bottle anymore. Is it full?"
No way.
And he goes up there. "Oh yeah, it's full. Check." And and we got dinged for that. So
Wow.
if he did not go in that account and have lunch, we would have passed with 100%.
Wow. That's why I learned the way I write my orders, dude. I only write what you need, man. Let them sell out, and then not sell out but let them run down, and then boom, a new stack.
But I took over for a guy that was, I guess, was notorious for heavy orders and just slamming. And when I took the route over, he actually was the salesman that was actually the one going around saying the rumor. And I was kind of just like, nah, man, I'm taught a certain way, and what you guys are doing up here is not what I've been taught.
Yeah.
And I remember we're at a store, and I was pulling off the out of code, and he's like, "What are you doing that?" I go, "It's out of code. It can't be on the floor." I go, "I'm gonna put it right here," and I started marking it. He's like, "No, I have a month to sell it." I'm like, "No, you don't, dude. It's out of code."
Yeah.
And me and him got into it, and I was like, whatever. But then I remember, we're going on a whole different tangent. But but when we passed, I remember getting a random call from a number I didn't know, and the guy on the phone was like, and it was Scotty. First thing out of his mouth, "I bet you're shitting your pants today, huh?" I was like, "Who's this?" And he's all, "Oh, it's Scott Marquez." I'm like, "Oh, hey, what's up, dude? How you doing?" And he's like, "Thank you for letting us pass." And I was like, "What?" Then after that, I got another random call, and it was Charlie Kazam. He's all, hey, it's Charlie. And I'm like, "What's up, man?" He's like, "Thanks." And I'm like, "Why is everybody thanking me?" And then I got home. I was so stressed out. I was shaking, nervous. And at the time, my ex was like, "What's wrong?" I go, "I just had the most stressful day out of my whole day, out of every day in my life. This was the most stressful day." Then the VP calls me and tells me, "Paul, you did a really good job. We passed. But think about the man hours we had to put to clean up your route. I want you to think about that." I'm like, "Okay." He's all, "Don't let it happen again." And I was like, "Jeez."
Speaking of stress, I mean, you're saying that was a stressful thing, but weren't you in the military?
Yeah, I was in the military. Saw a lot of things in there, man. From there, I saw some. It was good times, dude. I enjoyed it, but when I got out, I was pretty much mentally just messed up. Like, I think I was on the verge of getting a PTSD, but when I saw my baby's mom pass away in front of me, that's what set me over the edge.
I didn't know that, dude.
Nah, no one knows that. I keep that to myself.
Well, now the 35 listeners are gonna know.
Yeah. So it started off as a headache. She's always suffered from migraines, and I was at her house earlier that day. Her dad was helping me fix my ride, and I was taking off home. And I told her, like, "You okay?" She's like, "I just have a headache." She's been battling all week, and so Thanksgiving holiday week, I met her merchandising. You know, merchandisers always meet the ladies in the supermarkets.
I got lucky. I met mine in a Walmart.
And I went home, and I said goodbye to her. Went home, and then sure enough, like 2 hours later, I got a call from her. And I wasn't going to answer it, dude. Honestly, I'm like, now what? She can't sleep or whatever. But she called me. I picked up. I'm like, "What's up?" And she's like, "I can't feel my legs." I'm like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "I can't feel my legs. Like, I can't walk." And I was like, "Are you serious?" She's like, "No, I'm not joking around. I can't feel my legs." And I was like, "All right, hurry up." And I go, "Call 911. I'm on my way." She was the only one in the house. Her dad took off. Her brother was gone. And then I was hauling through every stoplight. Her mom was trying to call her because her and her mom separated. She lived with her dad, and her mom was trying to call her. She wasn't picking up. 911 was picking her, calling her, trying to, like, what's going on. And
wow.
I was scared, dude. Like, what the hell was going on? And I remember getting there. They're trying to open the door, but I remember they have really big, massive bulldogs.
Right.
So their dog hole is big enough for me to. Back in those days, I was slim and trim, bro. Because merchandising, you lose a lot of weight, dude. Not like I am today.
I was the opposite, bro. I went from weighing freaking 235 to freaking gaining 20 pounds in 2 months because our manager loved to eat pizza.
Dude, and I remember jumping the fence. I don't know how I got up it fast. All the adrenaline was pumping in me. I moved the dogs out of the way. I bolted into the door, and I just saw her on the floor, and I was like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Yes, yes, I'm okay." So I let them all in, and they're like, if she can't feel her legs, like she at that time she could feel them again.
Right.
They're like, you need to go get checked out. So she didn't want to do the ambulance. Took her to the hospital, and at that point, you started seeing her deteriorate. And I was kind of like, "Are you okay?" She's like, "Paul, I just can't walk. Can you lift me up? Like, and can you get a wheelchair?" I went to one hospital. I'm like, "Hey, my pregnant girlfriend suffering really bad headaches," and they were like, "Well, we really can't see her." And I was like, "Fuck!" Like, we can't see her. She's gonna have to wait in the lobby. I'm looking at her. She's really in pain. I've never seen her with these type of headaches where she's really getting in pain.
Right.
I went to another hospital. Another hospital was like, she needs to wait right there. She couldn't walk, so I had to pick her up, get her in there, like kind of just pick her up, get her in there. Then looking for a wheelchair. They didn't want to give her a wheelchair. They were like, no, she's fine. She just has a headache. I'm like, dude, there's not just a
But
headache.
she can't feel her legs. What it means? It's just a headache.
Yeah, they can't. I go, this is all right. So finally, I remember picking her up, and she just flops. She's flopping to the floor. Everybody in the waiting room is just kind of like figuring out, like, what the hell's going on? What the hell's going on? And they're all like, give her a chair. Like, everybody started panicking.
Yeah.
And the girl that's doing the admin looks at us like, fine, I'll give her a chair, but I need that back.
Wow.
And then finally, she's like, we don't have no beds. And finally, a doctor comes by and looks at her. Hey, get her a bed. Like, you guys need to get her a bed. Gets her a bed. And then she's mumbling. She can't even sign her
name.
And I was looking like, what the fuck's going on, dude? What the hell's going on? And I'm making jokes, dude, because they're trying to get her ready. I go, man, it took me they're, stripping her.
Yeah.
I made a joke with the nurse. I'm like, man, it took you 2 minutes. It took me 4 days to get those pants off.
Wow.
And they looked at me like, real fucking, like, this guy. And they're like trying to talk to her. And then they went and did a CAT scan to her. And then when I came back, like, all their faces were different. Like, they did a CAT scan on her head. They're trying to figure out what's going on. You see all their faces just change. They didn't want to look at me. Oh, and no. let me tell you, she is 7 months pregnant with my second son. She's 7 months pregnant with my second son. And no one didn't want to look at me in the face. No, even the doctor looked away. He didn't want to tell me anything. So that's when I got a little irate and was like, what the hell's going on, dude?
Right.
Like, what really is going on? And then they show me that there's a big, massive blood spot on her top of her head. So at this moment, they told me she's having an aneurysm. I'm like, so basically the blood was blocking all her senses. And so she couldn't function. She couldn't use her legs. She couldn't write. Yeah. She couldn't speak. And meanwhile, I'm telling them, what about my son? Like, my son's in her. Like, they're like, at this point, dude, we need to rush her. We need to get her down. And at the time, they're going to rush her down to Loma Linda. She started waking up. She was talking to me. I was like, are you all right? You okay? They're going to take her, medevac her. And then they didn't want to because it was too windy.
Yeah.
So they were like, we're going to take her in an ambulance. You got to follow us. And I'm like, all right, I'll follow you guys. You guys. And I remember just saying bye to her. And I told her I loved her for the last time. She told me she loved me. Then when we got to Loma Linda, they put us in the room. And then when that room came, I was like, this is not a room you put people in, a family to wait. This is a room that you're going to come in and you're going to break some news.
Yeah.
And they came in and they broke, and I was already bracing myself for it. I'm like, and they broke the news that there's nothing they could do for her. They're like, she's gone. Like, she's done.
Wow.
And they said that the focus was on saving our son. Fortunate, they saved my son. They saved him. He was good. But it didn't turn into another headache because when, everything was going on with her, they put her on a ventilator to keep her alive because she's a donor, all this. But since she wasn't alive to say I was the father of the child, I couldn't sign the birth certificate. They weren't going to let me have any rights to him. They weren't going to have anything. Like, since she didn't physically say that's the father, hospitals under legal obligations, like we can't release him to you because we don't know he's the father.
So they had to release him to mom and dad.
But mom, this is where the messed up thing is. Mom and dad knew I was a father, but since they lost their daughter, they thought I was going to take my son away from them. So they played the part like, I don't know if you're the dad. So they played that part, and then
Wow.
and I was lucky I was granted because he was 2 months premature.
Yeah, of course.
So they put him in the NICU, and I remember the nurse telling me that you need a lawyer up because they're gonna fight you for him.
Right.
I'm like, but what is there to fight though? Like, what is there to fight? That's my son. They're like, you need a lawyer up because what they're talking about, they don't want you a part in his life.
That's not cool. And
Yeah.
you said that day of the QC audit was more stressful. This story sounds a lot more stressful, bro.
You know what? And long story short, I had to petition the state of California to be put on his birth certificate. I had to go to court and do a DNA test. Everything came back to me.
There you go.
It took me 2 years to finally get this all. Dude, I'm laughing because a girl can tell the DA office that's the father, and they'll take him for child support.
Yep.
But a guy who actually is trying to be there, they make him go through all this loops, and it took 2 years. But when it came to that 2 years, and I finally got it done, I was ready. I was going to take him. They told me no, he's lived with the family too long, so we can't take him away from them.
That's some bullshit, dude.
And I was like, well, can I get visitation? And they're like, they're not comfortable giving you visitation.
Are you serious?
They weren't, because they were afraid that I was going to flight.
That's bullshit, dude. And I try not to say swear words on my podcast,
Yeah.
but that's bullshit.
Yeah, so, you know what? I basically made peace with them because they blamed me for the death of her.
Yeah.
They all say, like, if she wasn't pregnant, she wouldn't have died. But then the autopsy even said, they're like, dude, she was going to go no matter what. They're like, she had really bad heart disease.
Oh, wow.
Like, they're like, she had a really bad heart disease. And, like, she was going to go no matter what. It's just the baby accelerated it. So, and they were just like, it's unfortunate it happened.
Yeah, yeah.
So, but then after that, man, I wanted to kill myself, dude. I didn't know how to live, dude. I was kind of just like, I fell in the funk, dude, really. And
I know about being in a funk, dude.
yeah,
Trust
dude,
me.
Yeah.
But, we're both here.
Yeah. Well, how was yours, man? Like,
Mine was just, honestly, dude, now that I think about it, that I'm obviously grown, I'm freaking, older than what I was back then, it makes me realize that it was stupid. It was stupid. But it's just the events that led to that.
Yeah.
It's like, the way I grew up. The way I grew up was very stressful. It just, it was bad. I'm young and stupid, and the first girl that lays eyes on me, I decide to take off, because I'm tired of being at home.
you remind me of somebody I know.
Yeah, I'm tired of being at home. I'm tired of being under my mom's rules. I'm 22 and giving her my money because I'm working overnights at Target and I'm giving her my money. I'm tired of it. I'm tired of it. First girl that lays eyes on me, I take off. I take off without really knowing her. I knew her, but I didn't know her.
But you looked at the opportunity to
Get out. Yeah. And you ever heard the phrase, lo que no quieres vas a tener?
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll get to there. Again, I hooked up with this girl, freaking get an apartment, and she has a daughter.
Yeah.
Daughter's only 4 months old. Now I'm a stepdad now. So obviously I go from Target to Home Depot where they pay me more. Again, I went from $8 to $12.
Yeah.
But this is where shit gets out of control. Within 9 months of the relationship, she cheats on me.
Yeah.
And she doesn't just cheat on me with anybody. She cheats on me with like a kid, like 16-year-old kid. That takes your manhood away. That to me.
No, you know what? I've been in those shoes, man.
Yeah.
It does. When it happens, it's like.
So yeah, so she cheats on me with a kid. My mistake was not leaving.
Yeah.
I stayed, and we moved from that area. We go to a different apartment, way on the other side of town, because obviously that apartment has bad memories now.
Yeah.
Way to the other side of town, when now I'm getting a phone call from the kid's mom. So now I'm having insecurity issues, and I'm freaking out. I'm at work. I'm not paying attention to what I'm doing. I'm focused on where the hell she's at because
Yeah.
his mom just called me, where I end up cutting my hand with a freaking brand new box cutter.
Oh,
Now I
was-
have this inch and a half scar on my hand.
Was it the ones with the no protector?
It
just
was those
straight-
Husky. It was
yeah,
man, 2004, bro. Come on, they
straight
don't.
razor,
There's no
just boom.
protectors back then. So I cut my hand, and and I actually, and I'll tell you what this scar now means. Okay, cool. She's not gonna do it again. Blah 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 blah. Actually, that's how I got arrested the first time because I decided I want to leave. I'm out. I'm done. This is ridiculous. All I want to do is leave. The first time, yeah, I messed up. I slapped her. I was
Yeah.
pissed. I slapped her. Second time, I just wanted to leave.
I heard you clotheslined her.
No, this was not then.
Oh,
This was not
okay.
then. So I try to leave, obviously get arrested. Boom. Okay. Boom. 5 days in jail. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Come back home. Come back home. Now we move again. Again, bad memories, bad jujus. We move. Go to a different area. Again, bro. Again, 9-10 months later. This is now the clothesline. The thing about her is that she knows how to push her buttons.
Yeah.
She knows how to push her buttons when she's trying to do something. She doesn't want you in the picture. She doesn't want you in the picture. So she, tries to get rid of you. What happens? She meets another 15-year-old kid.
Yeah.
Another 15-year-old kid. Now she's what, 19 years old? And that's when she, she's going out and about, and she's taking our daughter
Yeah.
to these events. You don't need to show the child stuff like this. That's when I got upset because she wanted to take off.
Yeah.
I didn't allow her to take off with the child. I let my rage take over, and I clotheslined her. Boom. Now I'm in jail. No, I actually bailed out. I was in jail for like 2 weeks. I bailed out. Again, I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. So now this is the third I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And this is the third time me saying, okay. Number 3. All right, cool. It is what it is, whatever. But at this time, I'm not even happy anymore. I'm just there. Again, here we go. We move again. We move again. Different location, different area, different environment.
This is all
And
in Oxnard?
again, this is all in Oxnard. And again, we get to the point in life where she wants her freedom again.
Yeah.
And how can she get her freedom? By making sure I'm not in the picture. So that's around the time that, again, she is most likely cheating on me again.
Yeah.
This time, she calls the police. She tells the police that I threatened to kill her.
Mm-hmm.
I'm at my mom's house that evening, and I get arrested. No, actually, I lied. My mistake. I was at a friend's house. I had just gone to my friend's house because a friend that I met in college, and she was like, I just needed someone to talk to. And she goes, yeah, come over here. And she was having her issues and stuff. And we were just, I literally just was there for 5 minutes when the police showed up. And they arrested me in front of my friend. They arrested me in front of my friend.
Yeah.
And I was so embarrassed. And they're like, the car's hot. You just got here. So boom, like that was enough for them to arrest me. So since I was still fighting the case from the clothesline, there was no bail. That's it. You're stuck in here. You threatened to kill her. Blah blah. Like what? What are you talking about? Now I'm stuck in jail for 5 months.
Yeah.
There's 5 months of my life that I'm losing. And again, going to court, back and forth to court, nothing's helping me. Nothing. Like the judges, they want to send me to prison because they believe that I threatened to kill her.
Yeah.
I'm like, no, I didn't. I'm reading, I get in there and I start, that's when I met Roger and our buddy Ernie, and I do read the Bible. I actually have the Bible. I still have the Bible they gave me
Yeah.
in jail in the living room. I told the boys, here you go. If you guys keep fighting, this is what you guys are going to do for 20 hours. You guys are going to read this. 'Cause that's what I had to do. And I read a quote in the Bible that says, the truth shall set you free. I go to court and I own up to it. Okay, yes, I clotheslined her. They're like, well, what about the terrorist threat? 'Cause that's what they call it, terrorist threat. I didn't threaten her. And then a light bulb hit. Why don't you go into my possessions and realize that there's and find out there's a receipt in my possession for the movie theater in Oxnard where I went to go watch X-Men 3.
Yeah.
That's when it first came out in theaters.
Yeah.
X-Men 3 saved me from going to prison.
Because you went over there.
because that proved that I was at a different location when she's accusing me of threatening her.
Yeah.
And like I told my lawyer, I can tell you how the movie ends. That's what I was doing. That movie ticket saved me from going to prison. So there goes that. Boom. The judge says, okay, cool. You 1 more month and then you're free to go.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right, cool. Now I'm not stressing in jail anymore. I get released. My dumb ass. I go back. There I go again. Don't listen. I don't get it. Don't get it. Here I go. And now I get her pregnant with my son. So now I have definitely more reasons to stick around.
Yeah.
Cool. Okay, cool. Now we're a little family again. Everything's good to go. My son's about maybe, I don't know, 9 months maybe. When there she goes again. She is now cheating on me with a family member.
I think you told me this.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you.
Yeah.
You guys...
She's now cheating on me with a family member. And the family member and myself got into a physical fight.
Yeah.
Where I beat him down. I was pissed. I was enraged and like, are you serious? You're my family. Are you serious? Why would you do that to me? That's disrespectful. And I just let him have it. But after that, that's it, dude. I'm super depressed. Again, my manhood out the door again. Now with the family member who's 15 years old. Again, 15 years old. And she's in her 20s. And I'm depressed, dude. That's it, dude. I lost everything thanks to this court case, thanks to all this, thanks to everything. She got my car impounded because she tried to go visit me in jail. Yeah. She got my car impounded. My brother and my one of my good buddies, Frank Allen, I know you're listening. They went to visit me as well, and she got there before them, and they told the deputies, she just had him arrested. Why is she here? So they sent her on her way. They told her she had to leave. I found out that she was going to Santa Paula.
Yeah.
I kind of hate Santa Paula because of the history.
Yes.
Because she was speeding down the 126 and got my car impounded. So I lost my car. I lost my license because just everything with then child support kicked in. I wasn't paying child support. They took my license away. Lost my job. Couldn't find a job. And then the fact that I felt that my family was covering for them, that just had me going, dude. That just like, I was done. I was depressed. I even went and had my cards read, which I shouldn't have, because everything that lady told me came true. Everything. And for those of you that know Oxnard pretty well, I'm walking on 5th Street I'm walking on Rose Avenue, walking towards like Rose Park.
Yeah.
On 5th Street and Rose. And there comes the train, dude. There comes the train, and I start walking towards the train. And you damn well know the train, they blow that thing, and it's pretty loud.
Yeah.
I'm so distracted that I'm about to do what I'm about to do. I don't hear that. I don't hear it. I just keep walking. What got me to stop was the fact that as I'm walking up to this train that's coming at who knows how many miles an hour, something tugged the back of my sweater.
Yeah.
I stopped. I turned around, and no one was there. No one was there. Who tugged on my sweater? Now you fast forward to me telling the story that I remember what the lady that read my card said. She did mention that she was pregnant. I didn't know whose it was. Is it mine or is it my family members? And because of that, I was told, man, maybe it was your guardian angel. Maybe it was your unborn son that was the one tugging you and say, hey, dude, I'm not even born yet. Relax. Because, dude, somebody tugged my sweater.
Yeah.
And I turned around for a split second and nobody was there. They're like, maybe your son was your guardian angel. Because now look at my little one, dude. Everyone says that, oh, yeah, that's your kid. Spin image. You don't even have to get a DNA test for that one. Yeah, it looks just like you.
I see them. They both look like you, man.
And thank you. Because, She did me dirty so many times.
Yeah.
And then when people ask me if she did you dirty within the first 9 months, within 11 months later, and then again a year later, and again, why did you stick around? And my response was, I fell in love. And I get like disgusted looks, like, really? She put you through hell? You almost killed yourself. No. I fell in love with that 4-month baby that I've now raised 6 years, 7 years. I put myself through that pain because I love my daughter. And now, you know, that child respects me more than she respects her own mom.
Yeah. That's kind of like similar to me, man. When this whole thing went down, and I was trying to figure out, like, why didn't I get my son? And I spent 2 years just battling it, going out. And when they told me I couldn't take my son, that set me over the edge to where I was gonna go, and I was gonna where I lived at. There's valleys you can drive off to, and you can, they probably won't find you. So I was gonna drive one of the back roads, and being in the military, you do get issued a gun. You're able to buy one, and I loaded it up and started driving out, and I was just down in the dumps, dude. I had nothing left, like. I spent all my money trying to fight to get my son.
Right.
I also tried to, pay all my bills at the same time. And then to top it off, I was out of work because I took time off to get my mental, because I wasn't right, man.
Right.
But the way I handled it is, she died a day before Thanksgiving. Only took a week off, and then I went back to work.
Yeah. You didn't even give time yourself to.
No.
You can really. What do you call it? Mourn?
I didn't.
Yeah.
My way of dealing with things was keep it going.
Yeah.
Life goes on. Life goes on. And then.
But inside you were hurting.
I was hurting bad, dude. People could see my mood swings. They could see me kind of just down in the dumps.
Yeah.
And I was driving out there, and I remember getting a call from one of my good friends, which he passed away a couple of years ago with mouth cancer. Nick, miss you. And I remember getting the call from him, and he always calls me, and he always says this one thing. So, what's up, hot shot? What are you doing? And I instantly snapped out of it, and I was like, and I broke down, dude. I started crying, dude. Yeah. And I started telling him, I was like, I really wanted to do this. And he's like, for what, man? He's like, why would you do that? He's like, then you're going to be only hurting your older son, me, and everybody if you do that.
And you're right. You're right, because that's the one thing that was reminded. Like, you were willing to leave your daughter and leave your son. He's only 9 months old. You were willing to leave them. You weren't, but I wasn't thinking straight. And now obviously, you mature now. You're old. You see things, and remember, like I said, lo que no quieres vas a tener.
Yeah.
She ended up being the spitting image of my mom. The way my mom treated me growing up. That's how she was. That's how she is, because she still is like that. And back to the scar. So now I use this scar as a reminder to not allow anyone to get in my head.
Yeah.
Not to let them mess with me, because I don't need to be in that place anymore. Because I do have my children. I do have custody of them, and they don't need to, see that. It's the reason why they're not even in this on this podcast, because I told them, no, we're gonna have an adult conversation where I need you guys to listen to it later on in life.
But what? So how did you cope with it? What made you go like day by day?
After that, dude, just I left, dude. After that, after my son was born, after the little one was born, I was with her again. But at this time, we were renting an apartment. We were like roommates, dude. She had her room, I had my room. The kids slept in my room with me, and which what makes them they're more attached to me than they are.
Yeah. Because
they slept, the first year of their life is the crucial one. So they slept, in my room. And one day, she started working nights, and I knew that's where she wasn't going to work. She actually one day showed up with that guy's tattoo on her chest. Like, are you serious? Like, are you still serious? And I was like, that was it. She went to work one day. I damn well know she wasn't at work. When she got home, my 2 bags were packed. She walked in the front door. I grabbed my 2 bags and I started walking away. I walked away. I'm done. I'm done putting myself through this shit. I walked away. I left with the car, left with the apartment, left with the kids. I just left, dude. For my sake, for my health, for my future, I left. I put up with her for 6 years.
Yeah.
I'm done. Left. And then little by little, just my friends, my buddy Roger came, spend time with him a lot. He would drive down here and have a beer with me or whatever.
Yeah.
Little by little, dude, just little by little, my kids are the ones that kept me moving forward.
Yeah.
And that was it, dude. Like, now me being away from her, the first thing that I did was eliminate negativity from my life.
Yeah.
And that included everyone
Oh, damn, dude.
and anyone.
No, I'm still in your life. I guess I'm not negative. I say a lot of crazy stuff here and there.
No, man. No, I just eliminated negativity out of my life. And little by little, dude, I was walking to a car. Walking, bike, car to what I have now.
Yeah.
My license back, my job, a career, whatever. Everything got back to normal, to where I was. Because when I was a kid, when I first met her, conversations that I had with her, I was like, I'm going to be something.
Yeah.
And I feel that I'm just selling beer, but I'm something. It's a career.
You're Andy the Beer Man.
Andy the Beer Man. So we'll change the podcast name later. So just my kids, dude. My kids help me cope with it, and I'm not trying to end this podcast with depressed. Everybody get all depressed. Don't start crying.
No.
Wouldn't have had it. Don't cry, buddy. It's okay. Just that's what led me to that. And again, right now, if it wasn't for my kids, I wouldn't be where I'm at. The employee, the salesman of the year award. That's my speech. That was my speech. I do everything for my kids.
Yeah, it's your legacy. That's your everything. And honestly, I respect you because I see how you're a really big family man, and your kids are your world, dude. And
they are, man. They are. I mean, they drive me crazy sometimes, but they are, dude. Like, we go to the store, Dad, can I get this? And I'm like, I'm telling myself no. But you know what? They deserve it. They're smart kids, straight A's, awards after awards after awards. They're good kids. You want a $20 Lego set? No problem.
Yeah, but you could get a $50 video game and you're like, no hesitations. I'm there, bro. Man, there you go.
Hey,
the $20.
Who's gonna play Call of Duty with my boy Chris? Huh? Who?
I don't know, man. I was in a real life Call of Duty, so I don't play video games.
But yeah, man. Again, my kids keep me moving forward. Life is good. Got remarried to someone who is complete opposite, who actually I feel bad sometimes because I kind of give her the cold shoulder but she loves me, dude. Like, she'll try to hug me and babe and get off me, it's like, and I shouldn't, but it's just because this person is still in my life because of the children.
Yeah.
I just get reminded of stuff. Every time she calls me or texts me the kids and that. Or my daughter, now that my daughter lives with her, and she vents to me and she tells me things, it's like a flashback again. So until this person is physically removed out of my life, hashtag 2027 when my son turns 18. No, I'm just playing.
You got 27 more years.
Yeah,
bro.
right. So because of that, I still get reminded. And until she's completely gone, I'll be fine. But no, man. Again, the kids, dude. I give credit to my kids.
That's me with my groups, man.
Groups?
Yeah. So being a veteran and stuff, veterans offer the group therapies and able to go in there and talk to the guys.
There you go.
And hang out because before I was my job is I'm out there in the bar world like 24/7.
Yep.
So I was like, let's medicate with the beer.
You got alcohol everywhere.
Yeah. But then it was like, nah, I got to deal with it right
there
way.
You go.
So it's been pretty cool, man. But
well, that's cool, man. Well, I'm glad we're both still here, man.
We're still here. We're talking.
Still here talking, recording an episode that I said we're going to keep it at 45 minutes. It's now over an hour.
Oh, wow.
But no, dude, thank you for coming, giving me your story, listening to my story that multiple people have already asked. Hey, man, you've mentioned you try to kill yourself. Come on, where's that story?
Yeah.
And there it is. But thank you for coming, and thank you for riding with me.
Yeah, you gotta ride with you. We're ride or
So,
dies, man.
That got a buddy of mine to hit me up and say, you gotta end it somehow, something. So okay, the episode's called Ride With Me. So Paul, thank you for riding with me.
Thank you for letting me ride with you.
All right, buddy.
Thank you for listening to Ride With Me. Thank you for listening to Ride With Me, the Flat Tire Indie Podcast. You can also listen to us on iTunes, Spotify, and Podbean.